Good day, dear chess lovers. Today we're gonna be exploring a very fun, very ambitious approach for black to face Giuoco Piano. We're gonna draw parallels and explore ideas that are relevant into our arsenal facing our opposition, who are going to be developing their play gradually with some energetic play. So this one is Rui Lopez. We're actually going to be continuing to address Bishop c4, Giuoco Piano, Italian style game, more so in the next couple games, examples, but very much similarly so. The position which is going to occur some moves later, as we're making fairly logical moves. So a6, retreating the bishop proactively to a7. This is something we are going to resort to consistently. Now, what the challenge that Giuoco Piano players facing, aside from, take Caruana, Carlsen, the guys who the whole world is looking up to show how to play chess. Now, the challenge for most mere mortals is that they're gonna mix up these different moves, ideas, without having necessarily a very good understanding of the dynamic that can transpire. So similarly, I'm playing a club player. I believe this was round 1 of a tournament I played in the US, and very much so I was keen to launch an attack and hopefully score an easy point, which I recommend for you guys as well. Now, when you see this move g5, you may be thinking, oh, this is not the kind of moves that I'd like to play. I'd like to make sure my king is safe. I'd like to make sure, okay, here we have perfect development. Obviously, castling short would have been the next most logical thing to do. So I'm definitely with you. Playing proper strategic chess is definitely appropriate. Now, in this situation, it would have been, I would say, a mistake for black to miss on this opportunity of playing g5. So the challenge is, if you plug it in and you miss on g5, you'll be definitely blaming yourself, because currently the assessment would be as much as -1.5. So black is actually near winning with this g5 thanks to this hook on h3. Even if the pawn wasn't there, let's say we had the knight on d2 instead, I would still be highly tempted to just go ahead and launch with g5, g4, and start targeting white's king. So you could see this game was actually over fairly soon after some logical moves. So obviously my opponent was afraid of this bishop. Now we're going to look at positions where we're not going to be developing the bishop. But if we can, not going to be developing the bishop on this long diagonal. Now, if we can have this bishop, it's like a sniper hiding there from far away, targeting white's king. So white definitely wants to neutralize them. Just go ahead and trade. But this cost white some time. And in the meantime, okay, we trade those bishops. Definitely that bishop was nice and dangerous. It was helping our attack, but now we're still actually building up pretty good. So in this case, we took on g4 with the knight to gain time, tempo, So oftentimes, as you would follow the principle, if your opponent is playing on the flank, go ahead and strike in the middle. So this is what white is doing. So you'll see quite a bit of that from some good players, intermediate players. They're gonna try and do something in the middle. But the thing is, this d4, it's not necessarily like it's doing so much in terms of fighting back. So in this position, I believe I even had a very nice opportunity, which I considered knight d7, g6 coming to f4, which would have been quite crushing. And if white ever tries stop with g3, I could either consider sacrificing, engage the h-pawn. But okay, there's a whole array of opportunities. And by the way, the pawn on d4 is hanging. So my opponent decides to defend, and takes even more time. And now it's already coming down to the final part, bringing the rooks against white's king. So for those who are worried about king safety, you could see that time is of essence. And do realize that if the position is so safe for you, chances are you haven't really taken the chance to go after your opponent as well. So the position is going to be fairly safe for your opponent as well. Now, if you start escalating and you're doing it in fast and furious, then the initiative is going to be on your side, and then you're just going to be attacking, and your opponent is going to have to defend, which you're going to eventually be able to crush through. So we are actually kind of almost forgetting about this pawn. My opponent could have pushed forward, which, this, as I suggested, this knight actually conveniently so is going to be redirected to f4 if needed. There's all this knight f2's potential sacrifices. For now, I guess black is not rushed. But yeah, there's going to be this knight h2. Just basically, knight needs to get out of the way for the rooks to come in. So my opponent goes king f1. Here, I decided to take on d4. I did consider this cool move knight h2, which would have been crushing thanks to knight h2, knight d4. And now our rook is coming via g2, bishop is coming via b5, c2 is hanging, everything is hanging. So I think I played a little bit fast possibly, and didn't realize knight h2 was even stronger. But either way, no big deal. So rook g2, knight f3, yeah, there's bishop b5, and then knight on f3 is going to be hanging after knight c4. Alright, so instead I just picked up this pawn on d4, and then after this I delivered this little tactic, striking on f2, and then even winning one more pawn, and then soon enough, I think maybe even here, my opponent went ahead and resigned. So this was a successful attack versus Giuoco Piano. The really disastrous move which gave me the decisive time to just go forward was bishop c2. So had my opponent played something like d4, we would still have the opportunity to launch the attack if we really want to. But of course, always we could just go ahead and castle. So you're never pushed to do something unreasonable. So we can always have a chance, give ourselves a chance to strike and launch the attack. And nowadays, the better player is going to be anticipating something like that from black, just for black to pick the aggressive strategy. They might proactively try and escalate, like a move like d4, for example. In which case, I have many great examples where I took things easy, just gradually build up, and had very successful game, which is why I tend to enjoy playing e4, e5. So just to give some greater perspective, the overall map of what we are planning to study and cover together, we have bishop c4 coming up, in which case we're going to play either knight f6 or bishop c5. So bishop c5 is going to be a fine move order we can take on. Then white may opt for either d3, c3. So we're going to go with c3 as the main move order for white. And after knight f6, white tends to play d3, d6. So there we are, playing Giuoco Piano. And then we're going to explore active options for black so we can spice up our game. At the same time, we're going to provide also the most objectively solid ways for us to continue and hold our own and excel. At the same time, we could pick the move order with knight f6. I have tremendous experience. For a while, I was really keen on using the kingside momentum almost immediately. For example, c3, d6, castle, and then we could definitely go for g5.